Thank you for staying with us. Tanker explosions have become a recurring nightmare in Nigeria, resulting in loss of life, property, and environmental degradation. These tragic events have raised concerns about the safety and reliability of the country's transportation infrastructure, as well as the effectiveness of regulatory measures in place. Recently, a fuel tanker explosion occurred in Enugu State that claimed many lives, just a week after another tanker explosion in Niger State, which killed at least 98 people. The frequency of these accidents are alarming, with many blaming bad roads and reckless driving. The federal government has, however, condemned the incidents, emphasizing the need to put an end to avoidable tanker accidents and explosions. Joining us for this conversation is member House of Reps representing Ajeromi Felodun Federal Constituency. He is also a member of the House Committee on Safety Standards and Regulations, a member and House Committee on Petroleum Downstream Regulation. He is Honorable Kalejaye Adeboye Paul. Good morning. It's good to have you join us.
Good morning. Nice to be here.
Great.
Fantastic place you have here. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. But let's talk about this issue that is raising concerns because we began the year on a note of recurring tanker explosions and accidents that has claimed lives, like we rightly pointed out. And there are concerns about this. But I recall that in 2020, there was a conversation around the fact that the minimum industry safety training for downstream operations was mandatory, and 2021 was the timeline that was given to curb this number of accidents. But since then, we've still been seeing a recurring number of accidents despite measures being put in place to addressing this. What really then is the challenge you play in this sector?
Thank you very much. The first thing to ask is, how did we get here?
Absolutely.
How did we get here? It's an abandonment of the normal network for transportation of fuel, diesels, and all of this that led us to the use of tankers. We killed the railway. You know?
How did we kill it?
Because we're no longer functioning railways. The railways are just coming back now. The new government under Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is bringing back the railway. I know some of these things, if you are not transported through the network of the pipelines, when the pipelines were becoming target of vandalization. People were vandalizing the pipeline. They were, doing all kinds of things. And the pipeline was no longer a veritable means of moving these, items. And then we resorted. We either to we're also using railway where you move, but then the railway got collapsed through our whatever. Now we're back to the use of tankers. And so if we're back to the use of tankers, you have just said it now, the regulations are there. The lawmakers will make regulations, they will make laws. The implementation is not with the lawmakers. It's not our business to enforce regulations. But then, with the establishment of the safety standards regulations in the National Assembly, the House of Reps particularly, which I'm a member,
yes,
we have also started putting up some kind of little enforcement to ensure that beyond the tanker issues alone, we're also looking at even employer safety regulations. How many of our establishments really pay their normal dues to the NSITF, where even when these incidences occur, the people affected can get compensated and get taken care of. So we have also started looking at that. So, but let's look at it. The issue of this incident, tanker explosions, you have also alluded to the fact that bad road network, inability to enforce regulation at the take-up point. Don't forget that we used to have, when we had toll gate, we always have the toll bridge by the right-hand side of every of the toll gate, where every heavy items are, weighed, ensure that they are roadworthy, ensure that they can ply on the road safely. But those ones are gone. So we need to bring back all of those things. We need to, at the point of takeoff of these tankers, ensure that their, their fitness is assured. Beyond the bad roads, what is the state of mind of those who drive the tankers? What is the state of mind? Some will engage in drinking spirits before they go and jump into the vehicle.
But then others will say that it is the job of the House of Representatives, the lawmakers, to also perform their oversight function. So I'm wondering, 3 tanker explosions alone in the Northwest. I'll talk about Niger. Another one also happened yesterday. So multiple agencies are involved in regulating fuel transportation, yet we know that coordination appears lacking. So the question for you is, what specific actions has your committee taken to enhance interagency collaboration, at least call all of these people together and ask them questions? What are you guys doing? What exactly is the result? Why is it getting so late to enforce these stringent measures? I mean, measures.
You talk about the oversight function of the members of the parliament. It, of course, we're doing our best. But our best may not be good enough for now. I agree that we need to strengthen our oversight functions on all of these agencies. But the fact remains that how many times can we visit all of these agencies in 1 year, knowing fully that we're not only regulating that agency alone? But then I agree, and I think I'll call on my colleagues that we need to strengthen more of our oversight functions on all of these, agencies. But I can assure you that we are worried in the National Assembly. The Speaker is worried. All of us are worried. I see that the Speaker has also issued a statement as to condemning, but we cannot keep on condemning without taking action. So it's time for us to wake up now. It's time for not only the agencies, the parliament, the executive, and the entire leadership of the country to wake up and stop all of these things. And I think it's the right place, right time to take these actions. Beyond all of those ones, the National Orientation Agency must also put to work to continue to educate, to continue to propagate, while we must ensure safety of not only the tanker drivers, what of our attitudinal behavior? Our attitudinal behavior as to wanting to commit suicide. For me, it's by skipping fuel.
But others will blame it on the prevailing economic challenges, the price of fuel that had gone up since the removal of fuel subsidy in March 2023. So they will say they either ride or die. That's what they feel. So if you don't take risk, how so? If people are, daring the devil, how do you stop them?
You see, that's why I said the national orientation must come to play. 2, as a nation, we must also ensure that we alleviate poverty. And I don't think government is sleeping at alleviating poverty. But no matter how much we alleviate poverty, you want to understand that the right to live is very individualistic. You may choose to live, I may choose not to live. Unfortunately, if anybody decides to take a choice between living and dying, that's not good enough.
Absolutely.
So we must do a lot in terms of orientating the mind and changing the attitudinal behavior of Nigerians, which is very important. But I will keep on appealing to everybody to say, look, it's better to live. It's somebody who lives for a tomorrow that will enjoy a tomorrow. If you don't live till tomorrow, you don't know. Those who became good people today, who are leaders, who are multimillionaires, never knew they would become multimillionaires. We have stories of people who have made money who started from the scratch. So we must be determined to weather the storm. And then it's not as if there are no jobs to do. The Bible said the laborers are few. The work is plenty. The laborers are few. Some people just deliberately decide not to want to work. Chinua Achebe said, I came to Lagos because I was looking for work. He said, you can't look for work. You can't come to Lagos because you are looking for money. Because there are roads between Uma here and all of those ones before Lagos. You can
cultivate the land. Yeah.
All right.
You understand?
So that we can make judicious use of our time, which is limited as we speak. You mentioned that the House of Reps, your committee, is coming up with some guidelines, and I'm wondering how holistic it is, and if you are carrying other key stakeholders along in, looking at some of these regulations? Because there are those who have also talked about the need to look at the guidelines and perhaps take a second look at them and make some changes, tweak it here and there to addressing this issue. So if you could just take us through some of the things you're looking at and tell us how holistic it is as approaching this matter.
Specifically,
right.
In March, we're looking, it may be late, but then we have to plan. We're looking at calling all stakeholders to a conference, not just going there to visit. We must also engage them, know their challenges. So we're having a stakeholders, a summit slated already, and I have the date, except I do not want to communicate it. But in March, the safety standard regulation is coming up with a stakeholder summit for all of these people that are involved, not only the tankers, drivers, the petroleum downstream and everybody alone, but the entire value chain of what constitutes safety. And it's also important that when we're talking about safety, a lot of agencies are involved. The road safety agency is involved. Yes. You understand what I'm saying? Other stakeholders, the police are involved. All of this, even the road maintenance agency, FEMA, is also involved.
That's good.
We're calling a holistic summit to address this. And the chairman of our committee, Honorable David, has also, issued a statement to that effect. So we're coming up with the stakeholder as a first step. The second step is also that we have also initiated, summoning. Not summoning now, don't let me go, they have not of the way. We will inviting all of these agencies, one after the other, into our chamber, into our National Assembly for a regulatory enforcement procedure to also let them know. So that, of course, has started.
That's right. That's right. Dr. Kalejai, yes, it's within my right to also call you a doctor because of your PhD title. But then I see that you're also helping your constituents. For instance, according to the news that I saw, that you distributed palliatives to over 5,000 constituents, demonstrating your commitment to the community support. And if you look at this vis-a-vis our conversation, looking at the economic pressure that push people to getting into harm's way, beyond these punitive measures, for those that are found wanting and causing this unwarranted death, what socio-economic intervention have you proposed or supported to address the root causes that lead to individuals to such desperate actions, especially talking to your colleagues in this regard?
You see, in this year, I've also earmarked, as part of my constituency project, to complete the Skill Acquisition Center, the Women and Youth Acquisition Center, which was started by my predecessor. The idea is that, okay, why do you want to continue what somebody has started? Why don't you go and do your own? I said, it's stupid. If we don't complete this one, it's government. It's not somebody's property. It's government property.
Matter of fact, there are billions of naira of projects that have been abandoned across the nation.
So I don't want to do that. So in this current, budget, I've also accommodated my constituency project to complete that Skill Acquisition Center for our women and youth, where it's not about palliative alone. And if you see what I did last year, it's not just about distributing rice alone. I, provided transformers. I did school. I did hospital intervention. I went to the the primary health care centers. I distributed beddings, equipment, and whatever. So the government is doing its best. Apart from in this year's constituency project, looking at completing that Skill Acquisition Center, we're also looking at providing some other trainings for our constituents in terms of what they can. Last year, I also did training for hairdressing, people learning about hairdressing, people doing tailoring, people doing some other, jobs. So the basic thing is that we must continue to train our people as to how to earn a living. The bottom line is that if you're able to earn a living, you won't go into all those nefarious activities. But the ability of our people to earn a living is throwing them into crime, into things that are not supposed to do. So we will continue to embark on training, we will continue to embark on empowerment, we will continue to embark on infrastructural development. Because we also need to do infrastructural development for people to be able to access their place of work easily, for people to work under safe and convenient environment.
Absolutely.
Those is a complete component.
That's right.
And I think the president is also not sleeping.
All right. Now, one quick question before we let you go is the aspect of the subnationals in the conversation of this matter of tanker explosion and bad roads. There are those who have said that perhaps they also need to be engaged in these kinds of conversation.
Like I've told you, we're doing a stakeholder summit.
Are they part of it? That's the question.
They are a major target. They're a major target in the stakeholder
Yeah,
forum.
being major target is different from being part of something.
Part of the...
Are they invited?
Are they invited
Yes,
to the summit?
the invite is not out yet.
Okay.
We're at the planning stage.
Okay, but you're looking to bring them in.
They are
as well.
already part of those that are listed to be part of the summit.
Okay. Okay.
You also understand that is their association, which of course is involved in movement of these goods, goods from one place to another. The association is going to be invited. The participants are also going to be invited. We must also bring them to not only the association, but then those who really operate. So they are part of our agenda to ensure that we keep on looking at the safety of our people. And I'm sure that all hands are on deck.
All right.
It's just that we are not proactive. If we are proactive enough, they shouldn't be happening. We shouldn't wait.
But by we, you mean those of you in government?
All of us. Government, the people, the operators, it's a combined effort. If government, we have regulations. It's government who will put in the regulation. It's government who will enforce. But then those who are enforcing are the practical operators. They are the individuals who operate it.
Right.
Even when you enforce regulations and somebody gets on the road and go and drink paraga and get drunk and drive recklessly on the road.
It's still the role of government to create the awareness,
yeah.
to ensure that he is aware of the safety standards required and that he's endangering himself one way or the other. But we have to leave the conversation here now. We must thank you, Honorable Kalejaye Adeboye Paul, PhD, Member, House of Reps, representing Ajeromi Felodun Federal Constituency, Member, House Committee on Safety Standard and Regulations, Member, House Committee on Petroleum Downstream Regulation. Thank you so much.
And good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. All right, we'll have to quickly go on a break. When we return, we'll link up with our Abuja studio. Stay with us.